Hi, I'm Josh Curving, and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. But first, Hulk versus Doomsday. I know I said that I wasn't actually particularly hyped for the fight for Hulk versus Doomsday because it was more or less just like a slugfest, but I was very wrong. That was an extremely entertaining fight. Um, the animation was just spot on. The fight choreography was ridiculously good. The finisher was probably one of the most brutal that we've actually had in the 3D death battles. Um, and actually, I knew I would be extremely hyped the second Metal Gear Rising music kicked in because I love Metal Gear Rising. Um, the research was again really spot on. They touched upon almost everything they needed to. One of the things that they didn't though was the how he can take away things like energy absorption and things like that. Ultimately, he didn't need it because they found their own way of saying that he can overpower the regeneration capabilities. But yeah, ultimately that's fine. Ultimately, I don't really want to talk about the next fight very much, but I'm gonna anyway because I kind of have to. I'm not a fan of One Piece or Fairy Tail, so when they announced Zoro would be in the next fight, I was like, okay. Well, who's he fighting? And when they announced Erza, I was like, okay. I know that the next fight after this one is going to be the season finale, so that should be at least something to talk about next time. But for now, we'll start going over a little bit of Erza versus Zoro, as I have managed to get a little bit of research in to decide which way this one should go. Um, in terms of all of their stats, they're actually fairly close, but it does ultimately swing in Zoro's favor for the most part. In terms of speed, you have mostly the fact that she's capable of bullet timing and things like that. And I think the best feat that she scales to is a Mach 11 feat. Um, with Zoro, on the other hand, you have a lot of times where he has done things like outpacing cannonballs, and he's blitzed characters with, again, vastly higher feats. So I think he's accepted to be somewhere around the Mach 100 range, but they won't put him as that. They're probably going to say that the two of them are very even in speed because both of them have bullet deflection feats. So they typically don't scale as much as a lot of other versus sites do. So the speed is probably going to be around bullet timing speed for both. In terms of durability, Erza has her best feat, which is tanking the Jupiter laser cannon. It's like a satellite beam or something. It was a city level, it destroyed the city, but her, I think it's adamantine armor, protected her, and she was fine. It actually broke the armor, I think, though. So a city level armor, and that's considered her most durable armor. Meanwhile, you have Zoro, who is fully capable of cutting city-sized stone monsters in half. So that's going to be a big thing is that I think Zoro is actually much stronger, and he was capable of overpowering the gravity wells, the likes of which a character like Trafalgar Law, who is a city level character, he was having trouble resisting the effects of it, and Zoro actually managed to overpower it. So again, that is higher than city level strength, which is going to be enough to destroy the adamantine armor and any other form of armor that Ursa uses. Um, the reason with her armor is why it's so notable is she can basically switch between any of them at will. However, it does drain her magic supply. Um, One of the big things with her armor swapping is that she doesn't really counter Zoro in any way, shape, or form. A lot of her armors are meant to counter people, but they're meant to counter specific things and things that are common in Fairy Tail that just aren't there in One Piece. So, for example, she has like I think the Fire Empress armor that gives her like fire manipulation abilities and makes it so that she can like better resist fire attacks. Well, that's great, but Zoro doesn't use fire attacks. And then the like wind one where she's like better at resisting wind attacks and he doesn't use those. Fire doesn't use it. Wind doesn't use it. Lightning, water, he doesn't use any of that. And then like her trump card armor is it's probably her most magic intensive one, meaning it drains her the fastest, and it nullifies magic around her, so her enemies aren't able to use magic. Again, fine and dandy. Zoro doesn't use magic. His abilities are specifically stated to be Haki, which is pretty much Kai, which is pretty much Chakra, all sorts of the same stuff that they have gone on record saying is not magic. Death Battle, in terms of what they've shown before, they showed that Ki in Dragon Ball was not magic, and honestly, Haki is no different. I don't see why they would say that that is magic. Well, Ki is not. So that's not going to affect Zoro in any way, shape, or form. So the only armors that are going to be able to really do anything against him are like the blade wing one, where it's like you can directly hit enemies without the blades actually touching them. And again, it would be wonderful if her destructive capacity was high enough to actually do anything to him, even with those hits. She has like armor-piercing armors, and again, no armor. Zoro doesn't use any. So then, I guess it does come down to I have to go into durability a little bit as well. So with her surviving the laser against what Zoro survived, which was he's just survived plenty of other attacks, such as when I think it's Bartholomew Kuma took all of the damage that Luffy had taken during a fight, and it was immediately after that fight, and Zoro had already taken like pretty much all the damage, and Luffy had passed out from like the pain, and Bartholomew Kuma actually made Zoro take that pain, all of it, and he still like stayed awake until like a full morning. So it's like he can definitely take the pain and durability, and he can definitely fast her magic supply. And then you even go into like Zoro's own counters for these things, such as he has this one. It's basically precog. It gives him like a short precog that he can visualize what's like going to happen. So that means that even with Erza's vast variety of armors and abilities and weapons, that none of it's going to matter because he's going to see it coming right away. I'm going to steal a line from one of the people on the research blog, or sorry, not the research blog, but the prediction blog, because he brought up a really good Bruce Lee quote, which was, I fear not the man who has done 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who has done one kick 10,000 times. So this is someone who's good at a lot of things, but not very good at any of them in particular, against Zoro, who is really, really good at what he does, and that's basically what it comes down to. His numbers are just bigger than hers, and precog is just kind of the cherry on top of that. There's nothing that she can do to surprise him. I don't see them going any particular different way with that one, but who knows, Death Battle surprised us before. So I will see you guys with the finale, or for hopefully a fight that I actually care about. Alright, signing off.